Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Sunday, August 30th, 11:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2020. Snow in the Alps. A cold snap across much of Europe has brought some dustings of snow. It may only be the end of August, but winter is coming. Keep calm, it's boom time. The big story, winter looks cold and snowy, with some crazy in between, Farmer's Almanac claims. A blizzard could target the Northeast the second week of February 2021, according to the Outlook. Can you imagine that? Winter is coming, apparently with a vengeance. The Farmer's Almanac recently released the extended forecast for 2020-21 season, which shows this upcoming winter could be brutally cold and snowy for much of the country. Sign of the times? Keep calm. There's more to come. Colorado weather, first dusting of snow on the peaks near Aspen just happened yesterday. Can you imagine that? Colorado's welcome cool down has not only returned rain to many locations along with much cooler temperatures. The end of August pattern change has also brought a few flakes of snow. Take a look, August 29th. Mark it down. First snow on the high peaks this morning and some much needed rain in the valleys. Who else is stoked? I know I am. Snow possible in Wyoming this weekend because it's 2020. No, because it's grand solar minimum. Say it ain't snow. There's your forecast for Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain. You're going to have huge swaths of snow across the Bitterroots and into Montana here, western Montana, and that's just the beginning. White screen. This page didn't want to load earlier, so we'll continue to look at the snow forecast for Monday morning. Snow on Monday's forecast for the central Idaho mountains. Look at those flakes, big ones. A rare blast of winter in August is expected to hit the central Idaho mountains starting Monday morning. The National Weather Service says up to 2 inches of snow could fall on elevations of 8,000 feet and higher in the central Idaho mountains from 6 a.m. until midday Monday. And this is the beginning of things to come. We're going to check the models. They will blow your mind. Light mountain snow possible Monday in Montana. Didn't we just say that? Take a look at the map. This is a secondary storm that's going to layer on some amazing snow here. Right here. Boom. Right around September 7th and 8th. Huge system expected to bring snow all the way south into the desert of New Mexico. First week of September. A September to remember, maybe a 2020 to remember. So here's the system moving through BC and then Alberta down into Idaho by Monday afternoon, and maybe even hit some of the central mountains in Colorado. And then we have a little respite, and then a secondary system moves down the same train. There's your Alberta, and we're talking September 5th and 6th, September 7th and 8th, and then boom, Colorado gets hit like Schmidt. Bigger than ever before. We're talking 10 to 12 inches of snow with 3 weeks in the middle of summer, 3 weeks before fall. Snow in the Alps, we already covered that. Let's check the models over there, and the same thing happening. Now, the dusting in the Alps is just a dusting. Look at these little blue dusts. That's it. And even Greenland's going to pick up on the picture here, and a little bit in Finland, Sweden, but boom, check out the Alps here, starting, according to the models, September 12th, 13th, and 14th. We could have some record totals and some very concerned citizens in the Alps in the second week of September. Britain braces for the coldest August bank holiday on record as Arctic air engulfs Western Europe. Bear with me. Following on from UK's historically cold July, its coldest since 1988, autumnal conditions will return to the British Isles and Western Europe this weekend, with Britons bracing for the coldest August bank holiday on record. Rare summer frost will grip parts of the UK over the next few mornings as the mercury takes an unseasonable plunge thanks to a violently descending trough of Arctic air. A phenomenon which is predicted to increase due to the historically low solar activity we are receiving and its impact on the jet stream. Meridional flow much. So looking for extremely cold temperatures in a changing world, in a grand solar minimum world with a changing jet stream. BBC meteorologist Phil Avery admits this weekend could see a new record for the coldest bank holiday in August, as powerful Arctic blast engulfs practically all of Western Europe. Take a look at the departures from norm, including record departures in Spain, France, and other regions. Regions to be belegions. Take a look. UK, going to be chilly in the south, departuring from norm. But look at these departures out here. Benidorm, other regions, even Portugal, Northern Africa. Take a look. Austria, you're freezing your knickers off. Parts of southern Germany as well will be picking up what we're putting down. Are you listening? Take a look at these records. You're looking at Antarctic sea ice extent. And look at this little blue line pushing above the 1981 multi-decadal average. Arctic sea ice extent is now in record territory. Some of the most ice, this is the norm here. Now we're now extending above the normal for the last 40 years. Crickets? I hear crickets. This is going to be a winter to remember. Now, we're at the Arctic sea ice thickness portal here for 29 August. And we have seen the earliest uptick in ice building. The melt has ended, and ice began building in the third week of August. This is typical of the last 50 years of ice data, not a global warming world. So we have reversed back 5 decades and are now gaining ice in the third week of August. This is a historic shift in the Arctic. No Northwest Passage, huge amounts of ice currently in the Arctic as far as extent, and this is going to rapidly cover the Arctic Circle in just the next 4 to 6 weeks. Mark my words, the earliest end of the melt season in 6 years. And that's tonight's first boom to knowledge. Yellowstone's giantess geyser erupts for the first time in 6 years. Do we see a pattern? Ice upticks earliest the first time in 6 years, and the giantess geyser erupts for the first time in 6 years. I wonder if there's a connection with cosmic rays and cloud nucleation and heating the muons in the subsurface of that Yellowstone batholith. Anyone's guess, but the giantess geyser roars back to life. The geyser, located in Wyoming, historically erupted 2 to 6 times per year and then went silent. While some of the activity shifted over to the Steamboat Geyser, allowing complete maniacs like Mary Greeley and others to spend their entire life telling you Yellowstone's about to erupt because the geyser's farting. So there's that. After a slumber that stretched more than 6 years, a geyser at Yellowstone National Park erupted once again last week. Now, it's my prediction that the Steamboat Geyser will be losing activity as the giantess gains activity. And that is the nature of hydrothermal fluctuations in the Yellowstone Basin. It's almost like breakdancing. The giantess geyser, which is located in Wyoming, historically erupted 2 times per year, according to the NPS. Footage from the NPS webcam shows the geyser erupting as park goers on look. And I hope no one was sitting above it or illegally off the boardwalk, because they would have gotten 160-degree hydrothermal fluid shot right up there, because that's how that works. Seismic update, no quakes of note. We've got a boomer in Iraq just kicking off more. Iran, 10 kilometers. This is a surface quake. It's because of the nature of the mud huts and other crappy construction there. This could be deadly. 1,500 times more strong earthquake, 6.5 in the mid-Atlantic ridge, shows some activity. Yes, at those spreading points. We had some activity up in Iceland last week, and this is a reverberation of that. And I would expect some more uptick in Iceland in the coming weeks, where we could see an imminent eruption happening any day now. We are at the solar polar magnetic field reversal, which means that we are now in seismic warning area for the next 4 weeks. We're waiting for a big one. 7.5 to 8 magnitude is going to kick off. Let's check out space weather. GOES electron flux showing for the first time, solar cycle 25, we've entered the SWPC alert threshold. This is electron flux Warning, this is electron storm. Now, thankfully, that doesn't mean much for us at the surface of the Earth, but it does mean a few things for the billions of satellites floating up there and pieces of space junk and other shit we don't know about. Let's quick check the telemetry. Based on planetary K-index, we've had a reverberating geomagnetic instability after that short 3-hour geomagnetic storm 4 days ago. That coronal hole reverberation has hit us right in the kiddos. And we've had a pretty regular repeat of that cycle of reverberation banging into Earth, bringing that KP up to 4 and instability, but nothing to worry about. And it's these rapid shifts here in the magnetometer that's really responsible for that. When you have these rapid shifts where you move, 50 nanotesla in just an hour or so, you're going to get some reaction. So there's that. But all in all, the density has been pretty regular, albeit elevated. That's the yellow line. And plasma speed has gotten up towards 500, which is indicative of the sun waking back up. We were in that 200 to 300 kilometers per second range for about a year and a half. And now we're back and we're alive. And we're seeing yellow and red on the KP, and it's glorious. And we're in electron storm here, very minor. You really don't have to worry about any satellites, let's say, re-entering or perturbations to your cell phone service or your satellite internet until we get up above 10.4 here to 10.5, 10 to the factor, 10 to the fifth, so to speak. But well, let's just break it down. Use the science. Let's look at it. Here's the GOES electron 5-minute data, where you can see in high resolution that rise above the SWPC alert threshold. Now, what does that really mean for the layman? Because I'm sure a lot of you are like, well, the electron flux measures the GOES satellite data. And so the GOES satellite data, we have, well, anyway, there's a bunch of GOES satellites. And they indicate the intensity of the outer electron radiation belt in geostationary orbit. This is where the satellites maintain their position. Measurements are made in 2 integral flux channels, one measuring all electrons with energies greater than 0.8 million electron volts, or MeV, and one channel measuring all electrons with energies greater than 2 MeV. Now, electron alert events are issued when the greater than 2 MeV electron flux exceeds 1,000 particles per centimeter squared. High fluxes of energetic electrons are associated with a type of spacecraft charging. Now, if you don't know what that even means, if you go over to spaceweathernews.com, there's all these funny graphs down here. And a lot of people don't even read below or figure out what any of this means. This has to do with that spacecraft charging and that electron flux that we just showed you. So you can see here a big peak, and now here a secondary peak, and a big peak, and another secondary peak coming. This is all related to this graph that I just showed you. Here's the first peak, and a drop down, and a secondary peak coming. And so this big peak here above the SWPC alert threshold is going to be what we're looking at here. That's the peak in the charging, and then here's the surface charging in the vehicles. So we should be seeing some minor effects. These are just minor effects, and we're just using that this as a teaching moment so that you can understand how to look at this stuff yourself, and you don't have to rely on watching our channel. This is referred to as deep dielectric charging. Deep dielectric charging. Deep dielectric charging occurs when energetic electrons penetrate into spacecraft components and result in a buildup of charge within the material. Bad news. When the accumulated charge becomes sufficiently high, a discharge or arcing can occur, which is like a lightning bolt into a satellite. That doesn't sound like good news. Now, this discharge can cause anomalous behavior in spacecraft systems and can result in temporary or permanent loss of functionality. I said what NASA said. That's it. I'm not making any predictions except that exactly what they said is about to happen en masse as satellites fall to Earth. Now, luckily, most satellites are cube and small sats, and they mostly will burn up. But still, people are going to lose their mind when they see this happening. Now, let's switch it From one science to the next, epidemiology now. Drugs used to treat coronavirus in cats may be effective for humans too, study says. A study coming out of Canada, and I watched this woman who's one of the authors of the paper. Feline coronavirus drug inhibits the main protease of SARS-CoV-2 and blocks virus replication. Give a simple explanation on how this is super effective. If you have this drug, the coronavirus can't replicate because that protease chain that is necessary for the RNA replication is broken up, and it literally breaks the chain of the virus replication, blocking that protease inhibitor and saving the 9,100 lives that we lost over the last 6 months. Shock report. This week, CDC quietly updated the COVID-19 numbers. Not a single liberal mainstream media, 6 corporations that control the narrative, spoke about it. But we will. Only 9,210 Americans actually died from COVID-19 alone. That's it. The virus is so deadly, it killed 1/1,000,000% of the population. More deadly are things like farts, honey from bees, and texting while walking. More deadly. We've never shut down the economy for that, though, which is why this is a shock report. And I've known this from the beginning. I'm looking at the comorbidity and the additional deaths that have happened since the beginning of this pandemic, and it's not even reaching a threshold of worry. You could easily have incorporated all the comorbidity deaths of COVID-19 without COVID-19 as being just comorbidity deaths, meaning pneumonia and other natural causes where we have 150,000 deaths annually or more from pneumonia. Those have been absorbed in the COVID pandemic. But if you get down to brass tacks, the people that actually died of COVID-19, there's no other explanation. Less than 9,300 since the beginning of the outbreak in the U.S. So someone is going to have to be held accountable for this nonsense. And I think that all they're going to do is tumble us down into turmoil and civil war and just drown out the noise of the facts, because that's the way it's always been. Now, how long will Democrats pretend the chaos in Portland is normal, or any of the other Democrat cities? There has been 91 straight days of riots in Portland. Yet for 3 straight months, mainstream liberal media has been telling you that these have been peaceful protests when over 30 people have died at the hands of Antifa and BLM. Now the liberal media is picking up on other deaths. Well, anyway, it's such a spin piece. Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero, being called by the liberal media as a white supremacist because he defended himself against 3 white rioters. So why would a white supremacist kill white rioters when there are hundreds of black people around him? That's my question. Second, if you watch the videos and you're actually objective and you have a brain and you can think and you actually watch all the footage, you can clearly see a scared 17-year-old trying to protect some businesses and protect his own ass, defend himself against some pretty evil fucking pricks. Portland mayor, and speaking of evil fucking pricks, Portland mayor excoriates Trump. It's you who have created the hate and therefore the violence. That's what these Democrats do. They blame anyone but themselves. Now, the Portland mayor is responsible for the violence in his city, I guarantee you, because he's the mayor, and he has done nothing for over 90 days to stop it. In fact, he's exacerbated it. He sent away the federal cops that were actually slowing down the burning and arresting the criminals. But his plan, and when asked today about his plan, he said, I don't have a plan. I don't need a plan. It's all peaceful, man. 2 billion of peaceful damage. He said it's going to burn itself out. Well, that might be the only factual statement the Portland mayor has ever said. Yes, it will burn itself out, including your house, your neighborhood, and your city. Could be the dumbest elected official ever elected. Definitely not getting reelected, in my opinion. Now, I had a question. I was like, why does Bill Gates want to buy up all the nuclear power plants? He already wants to kill all the Africans with his polio vaccine. Now he wants to kill the whole population with his fake COVID pandemic. So why would he be buying up the nuclear power plants? Simply to cause meltdowns? No, he lives on this earth. And there's no way that anyone's going to Mars because of the cosmic ray problem. No one is going off planet anywhere. They could go underground here and just be pretending. You know, you pretend to launch a ship off planet and everyone goes down the elevator. That's what's happening, folks. Where all the little, the missing people are down there in those catacombs. But the truth of why Bill Gates wants to buy up nuclear power plants and their waste piles has become obvious with this press release just 48 hours ago about an energy firm saying nuclear waste fueled diamond batteries could last thousands of years. And this is an amazing technology. I'm going to get in on it. I'm going to invest in this, and I'm going to get some of these NDBs. Now, this is a cell phone version of the battery that could literally keep your cell phone charging itself with micro radiation. A little nuclear power plant in your phone that could keep a battery alive for 80 years. Same as your car, same as your house. The technology is just coming true. But being made by a California-based battery company that says successful early test results were completed on a nanodiamond battery brings them closer to realizing such claims. So this is very new technology, could be a total scam, but we'll report on it in the future as it develops. Now, take a look. Dark matter is dead once again, but billions of dollars will continue to be spent on fake. Oh my God, this is so insane. All the money that's spent on bad science could have literally fed the entire planet, give every homeless person a house, and fix the economy of all worlds. But we just dump it into this abyss, and the Fed keeps printing trillions of dollars as inflation goes up, and it's about to hit the fan. Now, what the elites know is what I've been trying to tell you for 4 years. They know about these cosmic catastrophe cycles. They know about what's coming, and they're controlling the narrative. They're going to implode the system early, incrementally, in steps, like a step pyramid, down into the hole of hell that you wish you never came from. So if you're in an inner city and you don't expect to hook up to the Neuralink with some kind of chip in your brain or some kind of head control where your entire, every fart you make and cell you burn is cataloged in AI, well, then you're screwed. And if you haven't moved out now, you have very limited time to get out. So get out and get rural, because we will be the resistance. We're starting the army now, and we'll show you how. Keep watching the channel. Share this with like-minded people. And a new study on mysterious glow at the heart of our galaxy kills the hypothesis of dark matter. But that won't stop the billions of dollars worth of funding flowing from the NFS, coming from the UN and other elite groups that don't want you to know a fucking thing. Means nothing. So there's that. Strong constraints on the thermal relic dark matter from Fermi-Lat observations of the galactic center. This is the paper that may shift the narrative to stop looking for something that's not there and start looking for an answer on what's actually there. Now, I know a good friend of mine, Ben Davidson, has been doing this for almost a decade, looking for good answers. And we're going to be talking about some of the bad results from what many of us independent journalists have been doing over the last decade or so. Censorship. We're going to be talking about censorship at every level. Social media, platforms like YouTube and Twitter. Alternative platforms, are they really fair and free? Is it really worth it for us to go over to BitChute or somewhere else where there's almost no one except people in a gigantic echo chamber that want to hear exactly what we're saying? Is that even worth it? I spend very little time over in those echo chambers because it doesn't matter. In order for a message like mine to get out to people and to make it matter, I need to hit the people that don't listen to me so that I can slap them with science. That's the purpose. Like I'm about to do right now. The September full moon arrives early. For that reason alone, this full moon is not even going to be a harvest moon. Who knew? And now it's called the corn moon, like cornholio. Are you going to allow this to happen? Well, it doesn't matter if you protest this. It's written in stone. It is what it is. The last full moon of summer, which sets up the October blue moon, is the corn moon. So you can stick it up your corn cob and smoke it. Hope you got something out of the video. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. When it starts snowing, yes, in August. Happy birthday to me. The first snow happened the day after my birthday. You know why that is? Because God allowed it to be snow-free up until my birthday, and the second it was after my birthday, He made it snow. That's my opinion, based on facts. And that is a boom. Thanks to all of our one-time donors, our new Patreons. Without you, I would not be doing this. Period. So look forward to the Ben Davidson interview. It's going to happen Tuesday, and we're going to be covering all aspects of censorship. He's been hitting the buttocks on Facebook. I've been watching it happen all year, and then Twitter got him, and then on and on. So we're going to get to the bottom of it. And what we need to do as a community to survive and thrive in the future. Now, I'm not one for, taking it down a notch and conforming. We're not going to do that. But there are certain things we can do to change our vocabulary, can change our tactics, can change the messaging and the titles, or maybe how we present this data. Because let me just put it this way. The social media formats, Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher, Instagram, TikTok, click-clock, and on, YouTube especially. They all have a set of rules that change regularly on purpose. And they're so vague that there's no way you could comply with them, especially if you want to be free and fair and balanced and be reporting on cutting-edge science, cutting-edge news, if you're talking about the human condition, or you're even doing editorial opinion pieces. They have the ability, being private business owners, to censor you legally. There's almost nothing you can do. This is not a constitutional platform that I'm on here. YouTube is highly censor-friendly. They will shut you down if they don't like what you say, based on their vague rules. And that's why a lot of users have moved off platform. Now, if you don't have a huge following, it's not easy to do. Take for instance Steven Crowder. The moment he was demonetized, a month later he was making more money than he ever did from Google or any of those other schmucks. Because he had so many fans, a small block of 10% of millions moves over and gives you $100 a year, and you're a multimillionaire in 1 month. So it works for big performers. But when you only have tens of thousands of supporters and only hundreds are willing to support you monthly, it's a different story. If you relied on this money to support you and your family for a while and you get demonetized, it's worse than COVID-19. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the reality of relying on social media as a career and how dangerous that is, not only to the brain and your ability to perform on a daily basis, but to the safety and security of your family. Hope you got something out of the video. Thanks for watching. I'm done bloviating. We'll see you tomorrow. Be safe. Peace. Oh yeah, click on one of these boxes and learn something else. If you stayed this long, you obviously care.